Hi, my name is Ron Webb. I work with the SA Communal Fire Protection Company, and I'm here today to talk about hangers and pipe supports that are used on fire protection sprinkler piping. So when you talk about sprinkler piping, what you'll find out in a building is black piping. So we call it black piping, but you'll actually see there is a varnish on it that has a coating on it, but it's not intended to make it corrosion resistant. When you start getting into corrosion resistance, you're looking more at a galvanized piping. The majority of the jobs, 90% of jobs at least, you'll see with the black piping, and that's what's used in the big box. You may run across galvanized piping in what is known as a dry system. That's a system that's being installed in an unheated area, like a loading dock or a freezer cooler. At times you'll see the galvanized piping being used. But typically you're going to find galvanized or black piping. So when you talk to piping itself in the sprinkler industry, there's different schedules of piping. What does schedule mean? All the schedule means is the thickness, the wall thickness of the pipe. This particular one has a thicker wall thickness than this one. So when you talk the available schedule for sprinkler piping, you have Schedule 7, which is the thinnest wall available, Schedule 10, 35, and 40. So in the large distribution centers or big boxes, you're going to find black pipe up there in the ceiling. And typically for the branch lines, that's the lines that you're going to see running with the sprinkler head on. That's known as a branch line. Typically you'll find in the sprinkler industry for distribution centers, you're going to have Schedule 7 or Schedule 10 pipe. So for branch lines, it's 2.5 inch and under. You're going to see with the Schedule 7 pipe. Now, one of the things that I'm going to backtrack on is you got Schedule 7, 10, 35, and 40. Remember that 7's the thinnest, 40's the thickness. All right. So what that means is Schedule 7 and 10, due to the wall thickness, can only be joined with a groove fitting. You cannot cut pipe threads in it because the thickness of the pipe would not allow it. Whereas the Schedule 35 and 40, you can groove it, but you can also thread it. But typically in all of the major big box warehouses, everything's joined with grooves. Grooves does two things for you. One, it's a quicker installation for installer contractors like SA Communal. And two, you have less chance of leaks compared to threaded pipe. So I mentioned that the 7 and 10 is typically used for branch lines that contains that has the sprinkler head on it, whereas the piping that gets the water to the branch lines, known as mains, use Schedule 10 pipe. Again, very seldom will you see the Schedule 40 pipe being used on the large distribution centers. It's not required. It's an expense that the owner would be paying that you would not necessarily need. So the next item I'd like to talk about is hangers. How are we going to hang this sprinkler pipe? So as mentioned earlier, all fire protection items have to be listed and approved, and there has to be a factor of safety. So this may seem a little strange, but this little band hanger, or a loop hanger as we refer to it, is typically what is used to support a sprinkler pipe. Even though it seems thin, it's listed to hold 5 times the weight of the pipe plus 250 pounds. So you look up there for 8 inch and under pipe, you're going to see this loop band hanger. So don't get freaked out. It's approved, listed, and it will hold the weight. When you get over to 10 or 8 inch pipe, you have to use what's called a clevis hanger. The loop hanger is only available for 8 inch and under, or the clevis you'll see for 10 inch and 12 inch. So now we got the part attaching in the pipe. You have the attachment that goes to the steel. This is known as a top beam clamp. All you do is slide it onto the edge of the steel and you tighten this up. You'll see this typically being used in all the warehouses with steel construction, bar joists, I-beams. If you do have a mezzanine that's concrete, you may see a post-installed anchor called a drop-in being used. But for the steel installation, you're going to see this top beam clamp. And the two are joined together by an all-thread rod. NFPA makes it real simple. 4-inch and under pipe, you use a 3/8 inch all-thread rod. For 5 and 6 inch pipe, you use a 1/2 inch all-thread rod. Now they do say for 10 inch pipe you can use a 5/8 rod, but typically we use a 3/4 inch just due to the hole size that comes in the clevis. So you got a top beam clamp, you got an all-thread rod, you got a loop. Real simple. So this particular item is used on buildings that are not classified as being seismic. If you have seismic, then you have additional requirements. One of them you'll see is this top beam clamp, so that it doesn't fall off the attachment. You have to put a retainer strap on, and all you do is put it on, you wrap it around the edge of the beam, and then you'll see additional bracing being installed on the pipe to limit the movement of the pipe going this way or this way. And one of the things you're trying to prevent is you don't want this head to be hitting something and activating. Now, one of the things that we found that has changed a lot in the industry is everything's not like it used to be. So the steel isn't like it used to be, whereas in the, as they say in the old days, we used to hang a 6-inch pipe right off of one structural member. But what's happening now is common in the industry. For 6-inch and over pipe, you have to hang it off of 2 members. And the two, how you do that is what's known as a trapeze hanger. You're running that up, whether it's a piece of pipe, not with water in it, going from bar joist to bar joist or an angle iron, and then off of that, you're now coming down and grabbing your pipe. So for 6-inch and over, it's common now in the industry that you're going to see that you're going to have to use a trapeze hanger that has to support the pipe off of 2 structural members. And basically you're distributing load over 2 members compared to 1. The other common thing that you're going to find that for projects is the piping has to be installed up within the bar joist. What does that do for the owner? It gives him more room to store. You don't have to worry about the storage, forklifts lifting something up, hitting the pipe. So if it's not seismic, real simple. The simple little hanger does the job. Seismic, you do have additional bracing, additional loads being transferred into the structural members, but even with that, the fire protection industry doesn't get crazy with the hangers. I want to thank you for this time that you've given me. I work for a company that, again, it's called SA Comunel Company. You can visit us on our website. Feel free to call me at 1-800-776-7181 or send me an email at ron.webb@comunale.com. Thank you.